The first question is to our presenters. So what was the most valuable or most impactful aspect of your TAR experience?
I think the most valuable and impactful aspect of it was seeing the flexibility of this research. I think a lot of the times when we're really sort of hyper focused on our lab research or whatever the main discipline that we study is, we're usually very locked into a specific set of methodologies or a camp of ideas that we, most likely don't deviate much from. But seeing how flexible this research is and different ways of designing an experiment and different types of analyses that we might not normally do is very enlightening and very useful going forward for the types of questions I think I can ask now.
I would like to second what Shawn said, and also, the ability to critically assess and evaluate our own teaching and the way that we teach our students, thinking of them and their experiences and what they learn and how they learn, and then also taking advantage of that flexibility, really, especially during the pandemic, right? Because you don't think you can take something from in person to online, but then when you're forced to do that, it actually can work out.
My biggest takeaway was the importance of reflecting after my teaching, both, personal written reflection and then discussing that with my faculty partner and other people. And I really found that informed a lot of my future teaching and found that really valuable.
To me, an important and valuable aspect of TAR was, the opportunity to actually explore a new approach and methods and kind of see how that actually works. And, it's more like an experiment of an approach, and then collecting data on that and seeing some results, I think is really valuable. I've been a very long time practitioner, and, it's sometimes hard. We have a lot to do as a teacher, but I think that TAR kind of pushed me into this, you try new things, but then explore that new method a lot more. So I think in that, it was very valuable for me.
After my master's degree, I spent around 20 years in the construction industry, mostly general contractors. So I was a little bit discouraged when I started my PhD program. So by taking part in this CIRTL project, I am highly motivated to do researches, and I'm ready to go my dissertation.
I come from an experimental psych background, so this allowed me to have another line of scholarly inquiry, which I greatly appreciate. And I was able to do things in the classroom that I wasn't able to do. Or I didn't think I could do, because that's not something that's typically talked about. And one of the great things about this is I've actually used my TAR as a product for some of the job applications that I'm doing right now. And I've used it in the presentations for that, and they love the stuff that I did with it. So it's been a very useful product as a postdoc who's applying for jobs.
I come from the veterinary medical field, and our education is currently changing or trying to change. And I think that this project really allowed me to reflect on past methods of teaching and learning and how we can advance that in the future, and how we can make our medical students learn in ways that are more efficient and better for them to go out and practice as soon as they're done with school.
I joined PhD in Canada, came from India, and as PhD students, main focus is always research, and I was always interested in teaching side of academia, and finding this opportunity gave kind of a formal venue to exploring that kind of an interest, and while doing that, I realized how little attention was being paid in every department towards thinking about this more structurally. So I did find many professors who have used their own unique approaches towards teaching, but they're doing it like independently. They've developed this over a number of years and stuff. But finding this as a formal way of doing this, the PI I found for my TAR project, he is also focused on teaching, got extremely excited about this. And I'm also moving into postdoc, and I consider this as a huge project that I've undertaken and to build my teaching portfolio.
I just thought it was fun to see the diversity of projects and all the different creative ways people were, trying to implement and improve life and quality of learning for their students. So it's just fun to see the ingenuity of people and, how far we can really take all of our projects and where everyone's going with it.